Good morning, PASW clients, staff, and friends joining us. Welcome to Thursday's class. We're going to do our usual once a week LA tour of LA and landmarks. And it's kind of like a show business tour. There's always something. We looked at the Pantages Theater, that gorgeous one. Last week we looked at the Wiltern, that other gorgeous one. And we're going to look at two very cool ones that are in the neighborhood of where we go to school, in Inglewood and Leimert Park, right next to Inglewood. So I'm excited because these are real important monuments, and a lot of history, a lot of old history of LA, and a lot of movies and performances were in these places that we drive by on the way to school every single day. So it's gonna be another fun little tour of LA. We're gonna start with probably the 1930s and we're gonna look at two theaters. So the first theater is on 43rd Place, and you've driven by it many times. It's called the Vision Theater. And the second theater we're going to be talking about today is the Academy Theater, which is actually now called the Academy Cathedral because it's a church, but originally the Academy Theater. So we're going to be talking about that. So first, let's talk about the Vision Theater on 43rd, and it opened April 21st, 1932. It's a Spanish Art Deco themed building, and it was originally the Leimert Theater because of Leimert Park, and it was built by Howard Hughes. And it was operated by Fox West Coast Theaters. Howard Hughes is interesting. Probably we most of us know Howard Hughes. He was into aviation, obviously, and but also really into show business too, and financed the movies, and that was part of one of his hobbies and interests. And Hollywood opened up this theater because there were so many premieres going on starting in the 30s, onward, that Hollywood needed to expand into places like Leimert Park, to places like Inglewood, and so they would build these theaters in the 30s, and specifically for Hollywood premieres. Now we'll talk about the Chinese theater maybe later, and the El Capitan. Those are great. But I kind of wanted to discover some theaters in our neighborhood. I think that would be kind of more interesting. So Howard Hughes probably invested in a theater that would be primarily for premieres, and the architect is the same architect as the Wiltern Theater, Styles O'Clements. They were the ones that did the Wiltern, the Mayan Theater, and they made LA beautiful really in the 30s. So it became, though, a neighborhood movie theater, even though it could hold over 1,000 people, and it just had such a classic design, the Spanish colonial style, tall steel frame on top of that lower stucco clad tower. It's just such a classic, and it showed movies until 1968. So Bonnie and Clyde was the last movie that was shown there, and after that, it kind of went into limbo and then became a Jehovah's Witness, church, I guess, and then eventually that and then it got run down after that, but it's gonna reopen in 2021, I think. So the interior, though, looks gorgeous. I would love to go inside. There's probably been a lot of great concerts and movies there that have been there. So Vision Theater, great little monument sitting right there at Leimert Park. So if we come back to Inglewood, there's going to be this other theater. So Inglewood was incorporated, the city, in 1908, and so we're going to pass by a very famous theater that I said is now a church, the Academy Cathedral, and it's on Manchester, and it's just so cool. Simon Charles Lee was the architect of this, and this theater opened November 7th, 1939. Classic art, modern style structure, and was called the Academy Theater because they wanted to host the Academy Awards there, but not one Academy Awards was ever premiered there. So unfortunately, it had to just show movies instead. So it showed movies until 1976, and then it became a church after that. But the architect was a big early proponent of this Art Deco modern style theaters that we've been talking about. So I hope you enjoyed this short little class on these two classic theaters. It would have been fun to be back there in the glittery age of the golden age of Hollywood, and these theaters are just classic monuments that we pass by all the time, but we pass by them, without knowing all, some of their history and their importance. And again, like I said in the class at the Wiltern, that LA in the 20s and 30s really was, remember those three things that we talked about? It made it what was special about LA was the climate, the geography of it, the mountains, the oceans, the perfect weather. Movie studios could literally film out here, and that's why they chose Hollywood, because of the climate, because you could film a beach scene, you could film a jungle scene, you could go to the mountains and film a snow scene, all within 20, 30 miles or something. You didn't have to wait for the seasons to change, really. So geography, climate, the automobile made it very important to be here in the 20s and 30s because of how spread out the city is. And then Hollywood, that made it also the other third important thing, where it was unlike any other city in the world. So I hope you're enjoying these little tastes of Los Angeles, and it's something I'm very interested in. It's something part of our culture, part of our history, part of our city that we should know about. So, okay, hope you enjoyed this class. Tomorrow I'm very excited to show you your results, the film scoring results for Chariots of Fire. We got some very great ones. I'm just so proud of all the participation that's been going into this. It's so fun to see all these different examples. So Chariots of Fire film scoring results tomorrow. So all right, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.